It's an age-old question. Do we live to work or work to live? Stick around and let's kick this around for a little bit. Our book about improving customer experiences is now in audiobook format on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Hello, everybody. Jeff Mason, your host of SimpleBiz360 podcast. We are SimpleBiz360.com on the World Wide Web, and you can find this show on YouTube, IGTV, Gab TV, and 28 audio platforms, all your favorites like Stitcher, Spotify, iHeart, Pandora, Apple, you name it. So today we're going to be talking about that whole argument of living to work versus working to live. And I'd like to just present three questions. I don't necessarily want to answer these three questions. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to ask them so that we can take a look introspectively and see things. So first is a healthy balance of work and life really necessary? Number two, is a healthy balance of work and life really achievable as we climb our career success ladders? And then number three, what do our families say? I mean, have we ever really sat down and talked to them about it? Now, we've seen a lot of changes in the world globally since the pandemic. A lot of things have shifted, and families, oddly enough and strangely enough, have in many ways been brought closer. A lot of the workforce has been brought into the home, so now we have an easier, I think, in some cases, easier opportunities to blend life and work together and balance things a little better. Maybe be around for a few more soccer games and dance recitals and baseball games, hockey games, etc. But it really begs the question, can we inject this balance today in our individual work lives? And what is the benefit of that? And if we can't, what is the cost of that? So I did an exercise here, some mathematics, just to give you a little snippet of my life for 11 years. I commuted from central New Jersey to New York City for 11 years, and I spent 4 hours a day commuting. So if you take 240 business days in the average year, you multiply that by 4 hours, that by 11 years, and you're going to come up with a little over 10,000 hours of commuting time, which, by the way, is 62 full weeks. Can you imagine that? 62 weeks. Now, you add on a 10-hour workday, and that's a lot of time away from the house. And literally for 11 years, I kid you not, I kissed my two girls as they were rubbing their eyes, waking up in the morning. And the next time I saw them, I was kissing them as they were rubbing their eyes at the end of a day, a long day, and they were tired and on their way to bed. And it's disheartening to look back on it now and say that happened, and that's how it was for 11 solid years. Now, here's the other weird part of this. If I had it to do over again, would I do the same thing or would I do it differently? I'd like to say from this vantage point that I do it differently, but that's not fair because I'm in this vantage point. If I rewind the clock to back then, I don't know what I would have said. I probably would have made the same decision I made. So, I just want to encourage all of us, myself included, how can we inject more of this healthier balance into our workday so that we aren't those people that, just simply live to work? We want to be able to work to live, don't we? I'll never forget walking the dog one day, years and years ago, decades ago, and I ran into one of my neighbors. I said, "How you doing?" And somehow we got on this subject, and he said, "You know what? My mom told me," and it's one of the best pieces of advice I've ever been given. He said, "My mom told me to never become what you do." And, we don't want to get there, do we? So again, I just want to throw this out, encourage you, invite you to think through things, and maybe there's a balance you can find. So we don't want to put anybody on needles and pins because we're gone so long and leaving our spouse to do all the parenting and so forth and so on. So we're going to look back at a group called the Searchers, another Mersey beat sound coming out of the British invasion. They actually named their band after the John Ford classic called The Searchers, right? Which was a cowboy flick with John Wayne. So here they are, 1964, Needles and Pins. We will see you in 168 hours.